Hey gang, it's Kevin, Factotum Jack Home Repairs, and I wanted to show you what we were working on. So if you remember, we were installing a switch into a cover. And what we did is, this is the EMT conduit, steel conduit. It got painted during the spraying process. But what we did was we ran power in, and power is going out. As you can see, it goes to the light, and then it's gonna jump down to those outlets. And those outlets we showed you in a previous video, how to install those into a multi-combo unit, I think for my chicken coop. And it's a similar aspect here. So here's your surface mount box, your steel 4x4, and we did the switch. So the switch, you tie all your grounds together in this box. You can tie all your neutrals. Obviously, you don't have another neutral for this because the switch only separates the hot. So that neutral is going to go up to the light, and in that box right there, it's going to tie the neutrals going down towards the outlets, and the hot's going to the outlets, and the ground going to the outlets. It's going to ground to that box, and it's going to send, and it's going to tie the a neutral leg down from the neutral nut, like the wire nutted together neutrals, one down to the light, and that red tag is actually the separate hot, the switching side of the switch, the light side of the switch. So when the switch is off, that hot line tagged in red is going to actually go off, but there's a separate hot in there so we can continue to feed power to those outlets. Typically, if it was just going to that outlet or that light, you would just have a ground, a neutral, and a hot, and the hot would just be killed because it only goes to the light, and the switch will separate that hot line. So back into this box here, as you can see, we've tied all of our neutrals together, all of our grounds, and then we have, and like I said in the other video, it doesn't matter which hot you use. I prefer to use the bottom. I don't know why, it's just, you know, just the way I do it. And then we have two hots here. One's coming in from the power source. One is going out to power the other outlets. And what we'll do is we'll tie in this hot here to these three, and we're just gonna adjoin these two together to separate the switch. And so that's really all that there is to it. You'll see it's kind of a pain in the butt when you start mashing multiple wires together. It does become an art form. So my grounds have the most amount of wires twist nutted together. And what I do is I like to twist nut them together. I also like to use this multi-screwdriver by Ideal. And it goes right on to the wire nuts, and it saves your fingers. My fingers are getting a bit raw between the cold weather cracking them, and I like to use O'Keeffe's hand cream to keep them under control, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. So I've got two more wire nut connections to make, and I was taught, you know, when I first started, it's always good to have a little electrical tape around your wire nuts. It helps prevent the wire nuts from coming apart, as well as let's say your wire nut only goes up to here, there's still a little bit exposed. It kind of protects any little bit that might slip down or get exposed over time, or when you initially start it, maybe you don't see it, maybe it's close to the head there, so if it bumps up against something, you just don't want it. You want to make sure you're containing your bare wire, except for the grounds, of course, as best as possible. So there's two little added features there to the electrical tape, and like I said, I was always taught to protect the sides of your outlets and switches with electrical tape, and obviously we're using that new Ideal armor banding rubber bands that they sell. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope this was helpful. Not that you might not do a lot of these, but maybe it gives you some wiring basics. You're wiring up a switch, and we'll try to get you some more in the field type stuff here in the future.